It's time to stop. What is the sweetest thing your girlfriend has done for you? She actively made time for me, over and over and over again. No one had ever done that for me before, and it was such a great feeling to be a character of priority in someone's life. She also pre-cooked and froze 2 weeks worth of meals for me while she was staying with me during her vacation once while I was at work. That was amazing, and tasty as hell. My recent ex got a mason jar and filled it with notes on what she liked about me, what she loved, random jokes and facts. It was honestly really heartwarming to have someone do that for me. First Valentine's Day, made me a card that said nothing sweeter than getting 365 kisses a year. Proceeds to give me a small bucket with 365 kisses, chocolate. It's those things that really makes you feel special. Ex took me on my first trick-or-treating at 18, was never fortunate enough at a young age to have someone take me or friends to go with. LDR 10 years ago. I was laid up with flu and stuck in bed with 2 winter coats on. I was texting with her, feeling sorry for myself when there was a knock at the door. She had traveled over 150 miles to give me a hug and make me hot lemon drinks. Edit, reader, I married her. She wasn't my girlfriend, but she liked me. She presented me with 26 gifts on my 26th birthday, and an email listing 26 things I did that she liked about me with her favorite pictures of me. I felt on the top of the world. One of the sweetest things I remember happened when I was in her bed reading a book and she was studying at the desk. She silently opened up a package of tiny breads, filled it with creamy cheese and gave it to me with a kiss. So simple, but so caring. Not my girlfriend, yet, but this new girl I'm seeing gave me a foot and back massage, and it was probably the nicest thing anyone has done for me. I've never had a partner do that for me. I lift heavy shit at work all day, and I got gnarly fucking feet from skateboarding and would never make anyone touch those things. But she insisted and went ham on my muscles, and I haven't felt this good in so fucking long. Then she laid on my chest and kissed me for a while. I don't know, man. I would explicitly ask her if she's interested in being your girlfriend. From how she acts, she's quite distant and cold. Ask her twice to be sure, but be cool if she says no. One morning, she put an alarm, which she never does, to go grocery shopping so that she could cook for us that noon. It was 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, so I didn't think much of it and went back to sleep. About an hour later she comes back soaking from the rain, hair messed up from the extremely windy weather, with a huge canvas of my favorite album singers, which I had been saving for quite a while. That was my birthday gift, and I was so touched and embarrassed for not seeing it coming. I love her. I race motocross, and after every race she is always there to clean all the mud and blood off my face and tend to my wounds, feed me water, etc. Then she will go and scrape all the excess dirt off the bike. I never ask her to, she just does it. Keep her. We weren't actually more than FWB at this point, but this is the defining moment for me, looking back, that changed the trajectory of my life for the better. I had been trying to get over my ex, who abused me for years. I finally got out after she tried to stab me with a kitchen knife during an argument, and I called the cops and she was arrested. Moved home to stay with my parents the very next day. My now GF was not intended to be a rebound or anything. I was very transparent about what I was going through. I hadn't grieved, but still felt very numb. It did feel good to be connected to someone who was basically the stone-cold opposite of my ex. We had a lot of sex, went out sometimes but only very casually, never really felt much like a date. Mostly it was just a lot of talking/goofing off, making out and having sex, and then I'd go home. I was perfectly happy with that. TBH, I thought she was way out of my league anyway. She was beautiful, brilliant, independent, had a great family, lots of friends. We were also in entirely opposite places in our lives. Then one night together, I broke down, laying on her bed while she was at her desk working on med school applications. I couldn't control it, I started crying and couldn't stop. And she didn't even hesitate. She jumped up and got under me on the bed and held me close, giving me random kisses and whispering that everything would be okay. When I finally started to calm down, I could see that she was crying too. We didn't start dating officially for another 2 months, but looking back, this was the moment that I started healing. And in my mind, her compassion initiated that process. This is the most wholesome fucking thread. She would always say, "You're fun." Years later, it still hurts when I remember that. It was the intonation and the amusement in her voice that sold it. Well, today is gonna be a downer. In college, I had a rented flat, and she used to stay with her parents. Usually, she left every day by 4:45 p.m. One fine day, I was rewriting a test that was scheduled to get over at 6 p.m. On the same day, Our college cafeteria had made the special that I really liked. She knew that the special would get over by 6. So she buys one in the afternoon and waits for me to finish my test, so that we could have it together. Smile. Just today, we are on vacation in Berlin. My girlfriend couldn't stop talking about this exhibition she wanted to see. Because we had to check out early, Airbnb, we decided we would go the last day to the exhibition, so we could drop our bags in a museum locker. But last night I ate a bad burrito. And today it's fighting its way out. I'm talking full armies at both gates, so, at 12 we had to check. I had fully prepared to barricade the uncomfortable toilets at the museum so the war of my insides could run its course. But then she asked me what I wanted to do, where I could be most comfortable. So now we are at a park laying in the grass with great toilet access. TLDR, girlfriend gave up something she really wanted to make sure I could shit and vomit in peace. One night I stayed over, and that following morning we ended up playing around in bed a little too long and I was running late for work. While I was in the shower, she went downstairs and packed me a breakfast and lunch and saw me out the door. It stands out because this woman, as amazing as she is, loves her bed, and normally I give her a hug and kiss in bed as she doesn't have to get up for work for another hour and gets a quick cat nap in after I leave. I was feeling pretty depressed for a time, so my then girlfriend, now wife, made me a decorated glass jar full of colorful little folded pieces of paper, each one with a different reason why she loved me and why she thought I was special, so I could read one every time I felt down. I still have that jar. She comforted me when I cried due to the pressure, anxiety, and sadness. Lol, the bar is on the floor. All partners should do this. When my wife and were dating, I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks on the last 2 months of a 3-year project. She called one night, told me if I could be home from work by 9 p.m., she'd show up with dinner and a movie. She showed up at 9:30, and said sorry I'm late, but, you know, Valentine's Day. Obviously, I panicked. I barely knew it was February, and had absolutely forgotten about our first Valentine's Day. I started stumbling through an apology, until she basically said, "No, you idiot, I was late because the restaurant was busy with people who actually celebrate that dumbass made-up holiday, so the takeout took longer. Now, we're going to sit down and eat dinner watching Star Wars until you decide to take me to bed." If I hadn't already known I wanted to marry this woman, that right there started the wheels a-turning. My squeeze at the time, now wife of 50+ years, gave me a flip calendar and on all the different days listed 366 things she loved about me. It was leap year. An ex bought me brand new concert tickets. She only listened to the music with me in the car and figured it was a great concert cause I knew all the words. We get in the crowd, like 10 feet from the stage, and I say, "Hey, we need to move." She looks at me like I'm crazy, but I just pick her up and move to the side with a way shittier view. She was insanely mad that I moved us. I snuck us up into VIP area behind the stage, and that's when she sees the rampage going. She instantly cried and hugged me the rest of the concert. It's not like a heavy metal rage mosh pit, but I've gotten a few black eyes from their concerts before.